Hello, welcome to this week's reading vlog. I was planning on updating yesterday. It's Monday night, but I needed to process the book that I finished. I finished The Maidens by Michaelis. Okay, so here's the thing. I didn't like the execution of the story. I didn't like how the main character was portrayed. It doesn't sit well with me, especially with a male writer. I don't know. I just don't feel like she was... Okay, here's the thing. It's really hard to say this without any spoilers, but okay, so I'm gonna include a spoilery section, but for the non-spoilery part, okay, plot. Let's talk about the plot. I like the plot, but it ties in very tightly to the character because it's a character-driven story. So her decisions affected the plot. The mystery itself, I actually liked. I wish though it was executed differently, and so again, because it ties in with the main character's decisions, I wish the main character was portrayed a little bit differently as well. So I have a lot of issues with the main character that is spoilery. So I didn't like her characterization. If I finally make sense of what I'm trying to say, I'll be watching other reviews and see if what they're saying aligns with what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. Then I'm going to update you guys on this without it being spoilery. But let's go to the spoiler parts, okay? So I'm gonna put up a spoiler right here for you if you guys don't want to hear what I want to say about this book, if you haven't read it, and if you're planning on reading it and you don't want to be spoiled. So let's go. Okay, spoiler part. So with her character, I knew right from the beginning that this was going to be one of those unreliable narrator, because this is told in third person, but we are mainly following what's happening to the main character. What's her name? I already forgot her name. Mariana. That became very evident as the story went on, and as we follow more of her perspective. She was seeing her husband's ghost, and you can tell that she's still grieving her husband, and you know, the loss of her husband really affected her a lot, and I feel like she didn't process it enough, or people didn't catch on enough to the fact that she's not over grieving it, and it's really affected her negatively. She was so hell-bent on pinning the murders on Edward Fosca. She has a bias towards him that allows her to not see and hear and kind of understand what other things were happening around her. At the beginning, I was very suspicious of her niece already, and with the reveal of what happened with her niece, I felt like it could have been ingrained in the story a little bit more. The fact that, you know, her motivations for doing what she did, because spoilers, she was the one who was killing these girls, and she was actually the one who planted the idea firmly in Mariana's head that it was Edward Fosca, the professor, was doing these murders, right? He's guilty. And I knew Edward Fosca was guilty of something, but I didn't think it was him. I didn't think he was the killer. And the niece's motivation could have been ingrained in the story a little bit more, so that we could have, I think it could tie in more to Mariana as a character, but also Zoe as a character, and kind of put in more seeds of doubt, because she was just really hell-bent on proving Edward Fosca's the killer, and she was doing all these like really intense investigations that the people around her are kind of just like letting her do. You don't realize how messed up it is that she, a random psychotherapist who has a direct relation to this murder, is sniffing around herself. She should have been tossed out of the campus right from the beginning after she tried to investigate on her own, like right from the beginning, because legally I don't think that's allowed. Plus the things that she was like doing as a psychotherapist. Now, I did study psychology. I'm a bachelor's degree, but I'm not a therapist. I don't have a master's degree or a doctorate degree on that. But right from the beginning, she was saying with one of her patients that she should be firmer. She's aware of it, but she's not doing it. It's like she's really making these like really dangerous decisions for her patient, but also for herself. And then there's the fact that her psychotherapist was like discussing, because you know how therapists have their own like therapists, and you're not allowed to talk about your other clients to another client, especially when they're also therapists. But I think like that you don't discuss other people, or other people that you are also a therapist to. You don't discuss it to another person, another client of yours. But her friend and colleague and her therapist talked to another client of hers, her counselor or therapist, about her. And I was like, I don't think people should be doing that. Anyway, so there was just a lot of things here that didn't really sit well with me. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about this. Next one. I'm currently reading One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I knew this was going to be very, very, very emotional, and it is so far. I'm only 116 pages in. I'm already in pain. Like, I knew kind of from reading most of TJR's other books, the narrative choices she was going to make here. And I was ready for it, kind of, but it's still really painful to read, because you're reading grief of somebody who has been with this person for a very long time, but has only been married to him for 1 year. Then he was gone, and then suddenly, years later, when you're engaged to somebody else, again, you find out that they're alive. You've gone through grieving them, you've gone through getting over them and learning to fall in love, and now getting ready to get married. It's like... it's really difficult, and I feel like so far Taylor Jenkins Reid is really doing outstanding job of like just making me sad, making me nervous, making me anxious because of everything that's happening. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, although it's like really emotionally draining as well. I finished it. And you can tell I've been crying. Like, my sleeve is like wet from my tears. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on, it's a bit darker right there because I was trying to wipe my tears with it. Can see it. I mean, what else could I say? It's with every Taylor Jenkins Reid's book, Jenkins Reid's books that I read, she never fails to make the characters feel so real. And so far her first few books, because I think her first book is Forever Interrupted. I already read that one, and then she has After I Do, which I haven't read. I will be reading it next. Well, sometime this month as well. Maybe in another live. I read that a few weeks ago. And then One True Loves. All of her books so far are like second chances at love or second loves. And she always, so far from everything I've read, she has made like all the characters, all the loves, all that feel so bright and real at the time that it was happening. So it's like you can see the main character having that happy ever after with both of them, but not in like the same kind of timeline, I guess you could say. Like in another time, just like her other book, maybe in Another Life, is like the perfect kind of representation to it. All her books so far, well, before she released her historical fictions, felt like that. So I want to have all her book in like the book of the month format, but I know like all of these books that she has before that one are all paperbacks. Even I think those ones have like, outside of the book of the month editions, are all paperbacks. Like they don't really have like hardback versions, maybe except for Daisy Jones and Malibu Rising. But like aside from the book of the month edition, I haven't seen like a hardcover edition of Evelyn Hugo, as well as her first 4 books. So I want them to release it, because you know they released November 9 by Colleen Hoover this month as an add-on. So it's like a book of the month version, and I want them to release all of TJR books. There's only 4 of them. I want it. I want to have my own copy, but I want them all to match. But yeah, I loved it. Such a difficult book to read, but I don't know, it's very painful to read. First, it kind of gives me a sense of like peace and calm reading the books, because it's love. It's a love story. And even though it will end not with a happy ever after sometime, I can't believe I'm crying. I still want to read it because it's love. It's a story of love. And like they explain it here, the way she wrote it, I don't think that true love means your only love. I think true love means loving truly, loving purely, loving wholly. Maybe if you're the kind of person who's willing to give all of yourself, the kind of person who's willing to love with all of your heart, even though you've experienced just how much it can hurt, maybe you get lots of true loves then. Maybe that's the gift you get for being brave. It's messy to love after a heartbreak. It's painful, and it forces you to be honest with yourself about who you are. You have to work harder to find the words for your feelings, because they don't fit into any prefabricated boxes. But it's worth it, because look what you get. Great loves, meaningful loves, true loves. And then one more. True love doesn't always last. It doesn't always have to be for a lifetime. And that doesn't mean it's not true love. Give me a second. So yeah, that's that. I'm gonna go now. Hello. So I realized I didn't update yesterday when I finished Written by Kathryn Moon. So this is the author of Lady of Rosegrave Manor, and this is another reverse harem fantasy romance. And I enjoyed this one. I do like Lady of Rosegrave Manor more because I feel like it was able to kind of introduce the characters more fully. I feel like this was really short. Physically, it's only like 250 pages, and I think Rosegrave is about 400 pages or so, like more than 300 pages for sure. But I still really enjoy it because it's a first in a series, and I think we're gonna be following the same characters because the plot from the first book isn't finished yet. So yeah, but yeah, I wish it was longer. And I think this, because I want to read her backlist from the oldest book that she released, which is this series. So I'll be reading this series first. I don't know which ones I'm going to include, but when I'm going to be reading them, but I just decided to pick up the first book in the series. So yeah, I enjoyed it still, and I really like her writing style. I love her writing style. Really, I enjoy it. And again, the reverse harem, I just love. So yeah, and right now this is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This is the third book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. And I actually didn't realize that the author, Holly Jackson, is actually English. I thought our main character and the other characters were American. And I think there's like two editions where one edition was set in the UK and one edition is set in the US, but like the overall story is still the same. I don't know what's up with that, but that's what I've heard, that they were like the UK edition is set in UK and the US editions are set in the US. I think this one is set in US because they were talking about Milwaukee and Canada. So yeah, like that's weird. Like why don't you just set it in one place? And so it kind of made sense to me, but I was also a little bit confused because I remember it being American. But when I started thinking about it, I felt like, yeah, there were like some British elements there. That's why I think I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know, but author Holly Jackson is British, I believe, because she got her degree in the University of Nottingham and she currently lives in London. So this is really dark already from the very beginning, which I've already accepted and expected and actually enjoy. And it's really hard to read because it's following the perspective of someone who suffered from trauma, because we're following Pip still, and she has gone through so much in the first two books. There's a lot of trauma there and she's still processing it, and yeah, there's a lot of things there too. So far I'm only like 30 pages and I think 36. So yeah, that's my update for right now. I've been reading a lot so far. Like I've been reading books, like one book a day so far this month. Like it's November 3 and I've read 3 books already. We'll see if I'll finish this today. I want to finish this today. We'll see. But yeah, I'll see you guys when I update for this one, I guess. It's the same day. I didn't read that far out yet, but one thing that I remember with this novel, or this series, is that the portrayal of the police is really pretty accurate from what I hear on the news, obviously, and that it's shitty, crappy police work. So she's very paranoid right now, right? Because she thinks that somebody is stalking her. She's been getting these really threatening messages on Twitter for months now. Now, recently, she's been seeing really disturbing things left outside her house. When she told her boyfriend, Ravi, he was like, you have to tell the police. And she was hesitating because she knew how the police worked from the first and the second novel, which I'm right there with her. They're not very helpful. They don't believe her and they don't want to listen to what she's saying. And the same thing happened. She went to the police. She even like had all her like researches and like, a timeline of and the frequency of the threats that she's receiving. But obviously they can't help her, and I understand kind of like legally and procedurally they can't help her yet because there's really nothing there yet, and that's crappy, honestly. But the way the investigator, the detective, the police guy that, the guy that she's been talking to, which is like the head of police, whatever, the way he says it, it's like really patronizing. It's like they don't want to believe her. And like she even pointed out, I've been doing your work for the past 2 years because you refuse to take action on what I'm trying to tell you, and I always have to do these things for you. And now that I'm telling you again, you're still not listening to me after everything that has happened. And I was like, yeah, exactly. You can't even like tell her, okay, we'll look into this, we'll see more, let us know. We need a little bit more concrete like evidence before we're able to really do something about it. But don't like shoot her down, because if you're in her position, you're paranoid, you've been getting death threats online, and now it seems like somebody knows where you live and has been stalking you. It's really scary. And the police are just like, he's just like, I can't do anything about it. Sorry. It's like, it's really crappy. I was really frustrated while I was reading it. But yeah, that's my update for right now. Again, I've only read 50 pages since the last time I updated. I kept falling asleep earlier. I've been really sleepy and drowsy. So yeah, right now I'm really awake. So I'm gonna be reading a majority of this, I think. So I'll update you. Oh my god, I just finished part 1. Oh my god. No, seriously, what the I didn't expect that. What? We're only halfway through the book. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so stressed. I don't really know what's happening anymore. I think I have 150. No, 100, maybe 70 left. I need to finish this like right now because I'm really stressed. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Like, Pip, what are you doing? I'm so scared for you. This is next level. I can't even say that she's making really stupid decisions because, I mean, okay, they're not decisions I would make, but given what has been happening to her and what had happened to her, it was the decision that she came to. And I'm not mad at her about it. Do I think it's the best decision? No, not at all. But, like, I can't blame her. But I'm really stressed. I'm so scared. I have 50 pages left. Oh my god. I thought it was over. I thought we... Oh my god. Okay. I really thought it was over. I really thought we were... I'm so stressed. Okay. Well, I should have expected that I would cry. So yes, I cried again. How many times have I cried in this vlog? Anyway, I finished it and it's 1:40 a.m. Okay, definitely was a twist. And we were getting like, I didn't know where the story was gonna go. Because I thought, everything was going to be fine and great and dandy. And then we get like a twist. I think a few like tiny twists at the last part there. And of course the part that made me cry. And I really hope, really hope Pip goes to therapy because she needs it. She has gone through a lot of things, okay? A lot of them are near deaths. She needs it. She obviously does. She's needed it since after book 1. And I love how we did like a full circle of things connecting back to even the first book. That was so good. It was so good. And I hope we get more Pip because I need like a new adult version of this one. She's now in college. I need a new adult version. Hal Jackson, please. I will read it. I promise. I need it. I need a new adult version. That would be so good. Because already this one is like way upper YA because of the really dark themes. Like, it was way darker than I anticipated, and I love it. It's very stressful though, but I enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, I knew I would. I was afraid that this wasn't going to be as good as the first and second one, but every book is so different from each other. It doesn't feel like formulaic or kind of like you expect where things will go, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But for something like this, I wouldn't even be mad if it's kind of like the first book, but it didn't do that. Every book is so different, and every book we get a different Pip. Which is so realistic because of how traumatizing everything was to her. So yeah, if you haven't read this, it's completed. I can promise you each book is really quick to read. This one is the longest one. I think this one is 450 pages, and I think the first 2 books are around 350 to maybe less than 400 pages. Definitely. So yeah, I have the first 2 books. Well, I have a physical copy of them. My sister has them. She hasn't read it. I don't know when she's going to read it. Hello, it is Saturday, last day for this vlog. I actually finished House of Holo earlier this morning, like 1 a.m. I think. And I really enjoy this one. It's super atmospheric. It's like one of those very dark, magical realism type stories. This is like a perfect like Halloween read. I mean, we're past Halloween now, but still a perfect like fall eerie vibe kind of book. I really enjoy this one. Very creepy. There's not much in terms of like plot, I want to say, but there's a lot of like tension, a lot of just that creepy feeling because there's a lot of really unexplained things. I really just enjoyed reading this one because the vibes are great. I really enjoyed it. very, very atmospheric. There's not much in terms of the plot and like the characters, like nothing like very dramatic, nothing like extravagant, anything. It's just dark and slightly grotesque, gruesome in terms of explaining it. So, there's a lot of mystery and questions surrounding the three sisters, because when they went missing, after they went missing, they didn't remember anything that happened. But they came back very different with these very different abilities. It's just really atmospheric. I had a lot of fun reading this one. It's kind of like, it says in the back, it's like kind of like a fever dream, sort of. Has that kind of feel where you don't know what's happening, but you're compelled to read it. It's hard to explain, but I loved it. I really enjoyed it. So now I went to the library earlier this morning to pick up the books I need to pick up. So now I'll be reading After I Do by TJR. This is the last TJR book that I still need to read. I've read all of her books she has released so far now, and I've enjoyed all of them. I don't think I've rated anything below 4.75. So, or maybe 4. I don't really remember what I rated her first book, Forever Interrupted. Yeah, so I'll be reading this, and I think this is going to be a one sit read. So my goal is to finish this today. Let's see. Also, another quick update. I bought myself a tablet. I've been wanting to get one, mostly for my mangas, manhwas, and my arcs, because the arcs that I get, like the e-arcs that I get from Penguin Teen, are like this like protected PDF, so you can't really change like the font size. It's hard to read on my phone because they're too small, but you can kind of change it on Kindle if you download it through the Kindle app. But if there are like breaks in the lines, even if you can change the font size and the fonts, the breaks in the lines stay the same. So sometimes, like, some of the sentences get cut off even though they haven't like gone all the way through to like that line. Anyway, yeah, so bought this one for mangas, manhwas, and arcs. So yeah, that's my update for now. We're reading a few more YouTube before I start this. Hello, last update for this vlog. I just finished After I Do by Jenkins read, and okay, I don't really know what to rate this one. I think I need time to like really process it, because by the, I think, first third of the book, I wasn't really feeling it. I felt like with a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, she was able to really make the characters feel real and alive and like very, very dimensional. Not that, well, her characters feel real still, but we don't really know much about them, especially because we're reading in Lauren's perspective. And so to me, I don't really know Ryan. He feels real to me, but I don't really know him. It's like I'm learning him through Lauren's perspective. Even then, it's not as extensive or informative or gives me a better idea of how their relationship has been, especially that flashback that we had in the beginning, where they were talking about how they met, how they started a relationship, and how it's progressed throughout the years. I felt like we needed a little bit more, or I needed a little bit more, to really have clear grasp of how the relationship was versus how the relationship became after they got married, or in that last few months of their marriage before they decided to separate. And so I didn't really have a great view of Ryan, because I was seeing him from Lauren's perspective, and majority of that perspective was when their marriage was already falling apart. And so I couldn't really root for him a lot. And even by the end, I wasn't really sure if I wanted them to end their relationship or not. But the way it ended, I felt like I didn't wish for the ending to be different. I just wished that we got to know more their relationship for me to feel a little bit more, I guess, satisfied or accepting, or, well, not accepting, I accept the ending. Just, overall satisfied with the ending. It's really hard to explain because, again, I don't think the ending was wrong. I actually do think that that's where it feels right, the ending. But I just want a little bit more satisfaction, and I just want a little bit more insight to that dynamic that they've had over the years for me to feel like, satisfied. It's really hard to explain right now, but I might do a rating TJR books, because I read all of her books now. So I don't know, maybe I might do that. We'll see. I need to think through it and see if I could actually make it into a good enough video. Or if I'm just going to like not be able to talk about it well. Anyway, that's it for this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys have read these books as well and what you thought, and if you're planning on reading them, thoughts, comments, etc. Let me know. I will see you on my next video. Bye.